Hello. My name is Gwendolyn Robinson, and I am running for place 4 with the Bastrop Independent School District School Board election. The election date is November 3rd, 2020.
All right, so we're going to begin with the questions.
Okay.
As we've learned from your bio, you are currently running for a seat on the Bastrop Independent School District Board. How do you get into community activism?
That is correct. So I am running for place 4 on the Bastrop Independent School Board, Board of Trustees. And I think I've kind of always been involved in community activism. In high school, I remember performing at the City of Austin Safety Awareness event. I did that for a couple of years in high school. As a parent, I was always involved when my kids attended school in Austin ISD and Round Rock ISD. I volunteered at the school and just became very involved and aware because something that I valued was there. So that was a part of my community activism. And then wherever I saw needs, I've always been willing to volunteer and to participate. So I don't think it was something recent. I think it was, again, because something that I loved was being mentioned or being brought to the forefront, and I wanted to be a part of that. So campaigning, before the shelter in place, which took or went into effect, I guess in March of this year, campaigning was going well. Had a couple of speaking engagements at a couple of local churches in Bastrop and in Smithville. However, after the shelter in place went into effect and the entire city and surrounding city shut down, we had to strategize and think of new ways to get the word out that there was this person that was running for school board. And so we've had our challenges, but those challenges created opportunities for growth, right? So we've done various things, launching the website, creating different social media platforms, just so that people are aware. We plan to do a few other things, so stay tuned. But it has been challenging, but again, the challenge has done nothing but present opportunities for us to grow and to strategize and to stretch.
So also, how do you attribute your drive for success? Your parents, God?
So there are several contributing factors, and I think that I'm not an anomaly when I say that most people will attribute their success to multiple things. One driving factor, of course, is my family. I want to make sure that I leave this world better for them. So I want to do things that are going to create more opportunities, not just for my children, but for all children, not just for my sister or my brother, but for all of sisters and brothers and my neighbors. You're only strong as your weakest link. So the goal is to make everyone strong. And of course, I attribute my success to God. So I'm a pastor's wife, and with being a pastor's wife, I am always humbled and reminded that it is only because of God that all of us, that we live, that we move, that we have our being, and that without Him, we can do nothing. So whether we give Him that glory or not, it's our choice, but all of the glory and honor is His. Okay, so there are several things, in my opinion, that need to change. But I don't want this to be about my personal agenda. I intentionally waited until both of my children that attended school in Bastrop Independent School District, until they graduated before I decided to run, because I wanted to make sure that my personal bias would not be my motivation for electing certain things or voting a certain way. So I was very self-conscious about that. Some things that are in the forefront that need to happen now are funding. So Bastrop is underdeveloped. However, every time, at least for the last 2 election cycles, when there has been a bond proposal submitted, it has failed and failed terribly. And part of the reason why it has failed, even though taxes won't increase with the approval of the bonds, it has failed because people don't want to extend the length of their current obligation, debt obligation for the bonds. And while I understand that, there's still a need. So I want to be able to challenge, we need to be talking to our city leaders and saying, the school district has this need. How can we meet this without passing this debt on to our constituents? Because some of our constituents can't afford it. And there shouldn't be, well, because the elite members of the district can, that we're going to vote in favor, and those that can't, they're just going to have to suffer. So we need to challenge our funding and not just go for the easy route, which is electing additional bonds. Even if it doesn't increase, it will extend. So that's one thing, because again, the population for Bastrop is increasing at alarming numbers, and we're going to be underdeveloped. We're currently underdeveloped, but we will be overdeveloped very soon. Another thing is, I'm a strong believer that you cannot reach what you cannot relate to. And I feel oftentimes that teachers are hired and they come in from different school districts or surrounding areas, and there's no rapport with the community. And so because there's not that rapport, I don't understand what you're going through at home. I don't realize that maybe you are performing poorly because you're worried about the deportation of your parents, or you have to work a job when you leave from here. So I think that we need programs, and I'm just gonna throw this program name out, but there's various programs, but programs like restorative justice that can come in and teach our educators how to empathize with our students, so that there is this genuine relationship. And now, instead of me being dismissive about bad behavior, we can actually have a conversation and we can move forward with the intent that I realize why this behavior is occurring. Let's take steps to change the behavior, but also for me to be able to be more empathetic with you. And I'm not saying give you a pass, but I am saying that I'm not so judgmental. And educators need that. I have some stats in front of me. So from August of 2018 to November of 2019, there were several offenses that occurred, mostly regarding paraphernalia. And I'll just give the number. There were 119 students that were caught with paraphernalia. And what happens is they're sent to Gateway. Well, why is the question. When you see numbers like that, why is should be the automatic question. Probably because either I'm self-medicating because there's issues going on that I don't want to deal with and no one's talking to me about those, or I'm trying to make some kind of money. Those are probably the only two reasons why there's paraphernalia on the school campus. So instead of being dismissive and saying, I have this zero tolerance policy and I'm going to kick you out of school, which is going to contribute to the school to prison pipeline, because now you're in the system, right? I want to say, let's bring them in. Let's have a conversation with the student. Let's have a conversation with mom or dad or whomever the guardian is and see what's going on. Not to tell on the student, but to get to the root problem. That's what I want to do as a school board trustee. I don't just want to say, let's pass all of these things that are going to build up our community, because again, we are only as strongest as our weakest member. So I want to make sure that we're not just building up the natural, but we're building up each individual person that contributes to this community, because as long as you're a resident here, you are a taxpayer, whether that is property tax or store tax, whatever it is, sales tax. And I want to make sure that your voice is heard. And not only that your voice is heard, but that it is considered and that it's valued. So those are a few things that that are in the forefront that are on my list of things that need to change.
So what steps did you take to get to this point in your political journey?
So as many know, I have a legal background. I've worked in the legal arena now for over 18 years. I also have a degree, but aside from those things, my current job, we provide general counsel services for municipal utility districts. So I'm very aware of how boards work. The different bylaws and things that you are required to do as board members. So that's one thing. I'm aware of how the system works. And then parental involvement. I've been very involved as a parent, in part because my children have always been very active, but also because it's what I value. You know, so I want to make sure that things are happening as they should. And then self-education. So we all have to do the work. You are required to do the work. So investigating different things, researching, having conversations. And that's how I've prepared for this position.
How do you balance your duties as wife, mother, minister, and
So balancing duties, it's a task for everyone, right? But mine is to stay consistent in prayer. I wake up every morning while the house is still quiet, and I just make sure that I'm spending quiet and personal time. And some people do it by meditating, other people do it by reading or working out. And I make sure that it's kind of a combination. Some days I may get up and work out. Some days I may get up and read. Some days I may get up and pray. Well, I pray every day, but first thing in the morning. It's a battle, but you have to be very intentional about your health, right? I want to make sure that I'm healthy as a person, because if I'm not healthy, then everything else kind of crumbles. And I don't just mean physically healthy, but also mentally healthy and well. So I adopt a morning routine, and then I also, I have to know to say when. And I think that's a challenge as a woman, because we always want to give, right? We always want to help. So I have to know when to say, this is too much, and then ask for help, because just because something is too much doesn't mean that it gets to go undone. But I get to rely on the people who love me and say, hey, can you help me with this? Or would you mind doing this for me? And then that takes some of the weight off.
what self-care regimens, practices are important to you and
physically fit. So I stay busy. We don't have a lot of downtime in our home, so I stay busy. And not only that, I think that we have to eat more and do more of the things that are good for us than of the things that we want to do. I mean, sure, we'd love to, not take care of ourselves and just kind of relax and eat things that feel good to us, but is it going to be good for us? So I just try to make sure that I have those things, but in moderation. Absolutely. It's already been prophesied and I receive it, but I'm just a vessel. So it was never my idea to run for school board. It was something, as I've said before, where I saw a need. This entire thing kind of spun out from the protests that happened with the NFL, and it's spiraling down to colleges and high schools, and then me getting involved as a parent of high school athletes and basically stating to the principal and to the school boards that all school-age children, not just mine, are afforded certain rights. And when I saw that maybe there was a lack of legal knowledge on the boards, that's when I decided to step up after my children graduated. So I'm just being used as a vessel. But yes, absolutely will be seeking additional political offices.
And lastly, how can our readers and subscribers support your campaign efforts or follow you?
So aside from the social media outlets on Facebook and Instagram, which is just my name, Gwendolyn Robinson, we have a website. The website is GDRBISD2020.com. So you can go there and find out how to get involved to help the campaign, how to donate if you want to contribute monetarily, but everything is on the campaign page. And also the contact information for my campaign manager is on the campaign page.